ये Good morning, students. Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to look into the JavaScript objects. What are the JavaScript objects? JavaScript is not a full-fledged object-oriented programming language. When we are talking initially, JavaScript is not like the Java programming or the Python programming, which are a full-fledged object-oriented programs. However, this JavaScript programming languages provides the mechanism for the all the aspects of the most of the aspects of the object-oriented language. For example, like inheritance, polymorphism. Those supports are there, but it is not like a full-fledged Java or the Python programming language with all the support for the object-oriented programming. It does not have classes per se, and it does not support many of the patterns you would expect from an object-oriented language like inheritance and polymorphism. The language does, however, support objects. Objects can have constructors, properties, and methods. Every object can have a constructors. As you know, what is a constructor? Whenever you instantiate an object, a constructor will get fired. Most of the time, it is used for the initialization purposes. And every object has a properties, and it has a associated methods along with it. There are objects that are included in the JavaScript a language. You can also define your own kind of a object. So there are many objects we are going to see that are included as part of the JavaScript language, and also we can have our own custom defined objects as per our project requirements. Constructors normally create a new object, and we use the new keyword, the class name, and then bracket with a number of optional parameters inside that particular bracket with the comma delimited as shown here. So this is how normally we create the object. We'll specify a variable name of the object is equal to new keyword we are going to use. Then we will specify the actual object name, that is the class name, and these are the optional inside the parameter optional inside the brackets optional parameters followed by the semicolon. So this is how we will create the object. But for some classes there are shortcuts available. We need not create the object like this. For example, for the strings, we will say variable greeting is equal to inside the double quotes we say good morning and semicolon. So object will be created by calling the constructor instead of having the formal way of creating a string object. This is how this is whatever we specified here. We are greeting is equal to good morning inside double quote semicolon. We are creating a string object. That reference will be available in this greeting variable. This statement is exactly same as this one, where we are using formally the new keyword. Okay, we are greeting is equal to new string, and as a parameter we are specifying the good morning, and string is the class name or the object name in case of a JavaScript. Properties, each object might have a properties that can be accessed depending upon its definition. So the objects will be having the properties, and those properties can be accessed using the object. When property exists, it can be accessed using the dot notation, where dot between the instance name and the property reference that particular property. This is very similar to the different object oriented languages, where we specify the instance name dot, then we specify the property. So you can see here how we access the property, the instance name some object dot, then we will specify what is the property inside that. And this is an example where we are displaying this property on a window. We know that this is part of the window object, that is alert function. Methods Objects can also have methods which are functions associated with the instance of an object. These methods are called using the same dot notation as for properties, but instead of accessing a variable, we are calling a method. So this is accessing the functions or the methods inside the object is exactly same what we did for the properties. So it will be same format, instance name dot, instead of the property name you are going to specify the method name. So in this case, the same object, some object dot, this is the method name, do something, and optional parameters, and you end with a semicolon. Method may produce different output depending upon the object they are associated with, because they can utilize the internal properties of the object. So these are the different objects that are included in the Java script. Useful objects, those are included in the JavaScript. They are like array objects, boolean, date, math, string, and DOM object. So DOM is a document object model. Those objects using which we can access the HTML elements. We will see those more details about the DOM. Arrays, we know this is the most used and the most useful data structure. Arrays are the one of the most used data structures. In practice, this class is defined to behave more like a linked list, in that it can be resized dynamically. So here it is used as a linked list where we can dynamically resize it, so that the either we can increase its size or decrease dynamically by using the methods available with this particular object. And the implementation is browser specific, meaning the efficiency of the insert delete operations is unknown. So the implementation is very browser specific. So that is how the insert and the delete operation that we perform on the array is dependent on the browser. So this is the code that will create a new empty array. How to create that? var greetings is equal to new keyword, and this is the name of the object array, empty bracket. So it will create a empty array called greetings. How to initialize the array with values? A variable declaration would be, look, suppose if you want to do the declaration of the array as well as the initialization together, then we can use this way: var greetings is equal to new array, and we have two values. So this array is created with the two values. So whatever the values you specify here, which are separated by comma, those values will be used as the this will be used as the content of the array, and they will be indexed accordingly. Suppose for this example, this particular array will be having two value with the index of 0 and 1. So at index 0 we will have good morning, at index 1 we will have the good afternoon. This is one way of creating using the new and the array name by passing the two values. And another way of doing is using the shortcut, that is a square bracket notation, where you will specify var greetings is equal to, inside the square bracket you will have the all the strings separated by the comma. So this is exactly same as this one. To access an element in the array, it is very similar to the what we use in other common languages like Java and C, where we use the square brackets, and we provide the index. Then that is how it will be accessed. Suppose if you want to access the first element in the index, for example, this is the array we just created. If you want to access this particular value, then you will say greetings, then inside the square bracket you will give the index as 0. So that is the first element in the array. And as you know, alert, this value will be displayed on the window, a pop-up window, and this value will be displayed. And one of the most common action on an array is to traverse through the items sequentially. So Most of the time when we are having a array, we want to traverse through all the elements until the end and sequentially. And the most useful property of array objects is the length property. We have something called as a length property. As and when you dynamically change the array elements, adding or deleting the elements, this length will be updated according to that. So this length property will have the length of the array. So this length can be used, a property can be used to determine the maximum valid index. So how we can use it in the program is, for example, we will use a for loop through traverse through all the elements of the array. We for loop inside the parenthesis variable. This is initialization where I is equal to 0 and I less than greetings dot length. So this is the object, array object we have. Dot length will give the length. So this, suppose in the previous example the length is 2, so this length is 2. It will get a value of 2. I less than 2, then we know this is I plus plus, and inside we are going to display as a window. Inside a window we will specify the value of the array element. First one is the I is equal to 0. First it will display good morning. Then after displaying, it will check, it will do the increment. I will be increased from 0 to 1. 1 less than 2, answer is true. Again it will come here, greetings of 1. The I value is 1 and greeting of 1 is nothing but good afternoon. It will pop up with a message, good evening, and I value will be incremented to 2. 2 less than 2, false, then it will stop. So that is how you can you access the all the array element sequentially. Now this is the greetings variable. These are the indices, and at 0th location we have good morning, at 1 good afternoon, at 2 good evening. How to modify the array? So we have two methods along with given with the array, that is push and pop method. Okay, so push will push an element onto the array, and a pop will remove an item from the array. To add an item to an existing array, you can use the push method. How to use that? You will specify the instance name, that is greetings dot push, and you will provide the what element you want to push onto the array. So and whenever you do the push, it will go to the end of the that array. So it will create with a new index, and it will go as a on top at the last, as the last element. Pop method can be used to remove item from the back of an array. Similarly, pop can be used to remove the that particular element which has been added. So whenever you call the pop method, if I say greetings dot pop, whatever at the highest index, that element will be removed. And there are some additional useful methods along with the arrays object, like concat. We can do slicing. Suppose if you want to slice a particular part of the array, you can do that. Join method, if you want to reverse the order of the elements, you can directly use the reverse. Shift, if you want to shift the elements, and if you want to do the sorting of the elements. So sort and reverse, suppose if there is any need to have the order to be reversed, direct one function call will reverse the complete array. And similarly, one sort call will sort the array elements according to their value. The another important object that we have is a math. Okay, math class allows us to access common mathematic functions, common values quickly in one place. And most of the time, whatever the language that provides the math library, that math class would be like a static class. Okay, this is a static class, contains methods such as max value, max, min. So max will get the maximum of the whatever the values you have given. Min will get the whatever the minimum value of the what parameters you have used. This is power, square root, then exponential, and there are many trigonometric functions such as sine, cos, and then arctan, All the mathematical functions that are available, all the trigonometric functions, whatever is related to mathematics, all are stored, all are available as part of this math class. Many mathematical constants are also defined, for example, pi, e, and sqrt2, and many others. For example, to access the those constants, you can say math.pi. This is results the this is nothing but the this particular value, that is constant value 3.141592657. And similarly, this is the how the square root can be called math dot square root of 4. So this will result in value of 2. Then math dot random function, random function will get us a any value between 0 and 1. Then string class we already saw with some of the examples. The constructor usage, how to use as a constructor form. Var variable greet is equal to new keyword, then you specify the string class string, and inside the brackets you will specify the value. So that is how the this greet will be created as a string object having a value of good. So this is a long form constructor, and short constructor is you don't have to specify new and the string class, directly you give the value automatically. This action and this action are exactly the same. So now greet object is created with a value of good. Then similar to the array, we have the length property for the string, where the string variable or the instance name dot length will give the length of the string. For example, in this case, we have a value of good. If we call greet dot length, so it will show the length. So length would be in terms of the number of characters that are available in that particular string. So in case of a good, we have 4 characters. The length will be specified as 4. String other methods that are available is a concat. Concat will, as you know, it will do the concatenation of two strings. Long form concatenation, var str some string variable is equal to greet. Greet is already having a good, right? You can call the concat method. We have the concat method dot concat, and we can specify the string as a parameter. So whatever is the content of greet that is good is concatenated, joined with the morning, and that value will be stored in str. This long form is exactly similar to using a plus operator. So whenever you use the plus operator on the string object, it will do the concatenation. So it will it is kind of a like a operator overloading, where it will do the operation of concatenation when it finds the a string object. So var str is equal to greet plus greet is already a string object, and we are providing another string object here, another string value here, constant string. So it will concatenate. Good morning will be stored in str. There are many other useful methods that exist in the string class. Accessing a single character. Suppose if you want to access a single character from the string, we can use char at method. This is very similar to the string class that is available in Java. You can exactly correlate with that. Suppose if you want to say char at, you will say 0, you will get the m, okay, and so on. And there is one more, if you want to do the searching for one using, then you can use the index of. Using the index of, you can do the you can get a index of a particular character that you pass here. Strings allow splitting of the strings into an array. So using the strings, we can split it and we can convert it into an array. Searching and matching, that also we can do with the methods like a split, search, and the match methods. So split, what it will do, split will convert one particular string into an array. So how it will split? whatever the value specified as a parameter. Suppose your string is having the words separated using the space, then you can provide a split and character as space. So array will be created with all the words. So if you your string is having comma, you want to separate by the comma, then you can give a separate character. And searching can be used using the search method, and matching can be used using the match methods. The next class that is available in JavaScript is a date class, and it is a very helpful as well, and it is included with the JavaScript that you should be aware of. It allows you to quickly calculate the current date or create a date objects for particular dates. So whenever you are dealing with a date, and if there is any calculation related to the dates, the date object can be used. And also, if you want to get the current date, if you want to know what is the current date, we can do so. To display today's date as a string, we should simply create a new object and use the toString method. So here, how to create a string object? var, d is the name of the variable, is equal to new, and this is the class name date. So this will create a new object of a date, and it instantiates a new date object and gives a reference in the to the d. So d will have reference to that new object. If you want to print that value of this, you have to convert the date object into a string. That can be used done using the toString method. So on date object, you call date dot toString. So we are using alert method. Alert method will display a pop-up message, and whatever is inside as a parameter, that will be displayed. What will be displayed? We have here string object. Today is, then plus will do the concatenation. What concatenation it will do? The complete string. So for example, the date will be stored as something like this. Okay, Monday, November 12, 2012, and so on. Okay, so that is how you can display. I have a code for that. We can take a look in that code. So this is the JavaScript. Okay, so this is the HTML document and head section, and already you know JavaScript can be included as inline with the HTML elements, or it can be used as a embedded inside the head section inside the script. Okay, opening script and ending script, you can include all the JavaScript. Or the third option how you can include JavaScript is to have a separate JavaScript file and include that JavaScript into the HTML. So right now I have used the embedded method. This is the beginning of the script, and this is inside the angle bracket. I have specified the type. Type is equal to text forward slash JavaScript, and this is the closing script, that is inside the angle brackets forward slash script. And I have two lines, just two lines of code. First one is I have declared a variable d, and I have created a new object of type date, and that new object has been the reference has been assigned to the variable d. Now d will have a new object, so new date. Then alert inside date is, then concatenation plus d dot string. So whatever the data object I have, d dot string. Okay, and that is the end. So that will be shown as a pop-up, because alert is a the alert function will generate a pop-up message with the content as whatever is given inside the parenthesis. Let me save this. I will open. I will double click. Okay, you can see this site says date is Sunday, June 6th, and it specifies the timing. So this is the timing, Indian Standard Time. So I just it opened in IE. So normally we open in the Chrome. Let me open it in the Chrome as well. Okay, so it's a little bit difference in the way the pop-up is displayed. This is in Chrome. So date is Sunday, June 6th, and so on, GMT, Indian Standard Time. Window object in JavaScript corresponds to the browser itself. So in case of a the window object, in case of a JavaScript, it corresponds to the browser itself. Whatever the browser, the JavaScript is inside, that itself is the object. Through it, you can access the current page's URL. Okay, because it's a browser itself, we can access the current page URL. We can access the browser history and what is being displayed in the status bar, and as well as the opening a new browser window. All those things can be done. So in fact, the alert function what we were using mentioned earlier is actually method of the window object. So whatever the alert that we use so far, that is nothing but a method inside the window object. Next one is the document object model, or DOM. Document object model is very important. So JavaScript can interact with the HTML document using this API. Okay, document object model. So whatever is the HTML document, JavaScript can easily access those HTML elements, and it can modify them using this DOM. We talked about in some of the previous sessions about the asynchronous call using the JavaScript, or repainting the HTML elements. So using this, the HTML can do the asynchronous calls. Once it gets a response, it repaints the HTML document without completely loading the HTML. So we saw the what is the advantage of having that kind of asynchronous calls, just for whatever the some part of the HTML document will be getting changed. For that, we need not load the complete page. Whatever the element, its value should be updated. Asynchronous call can be made using the JavaScript. We can get the response from the server, and we can repaint that particular HTML element. The JavaScript is almost always used to interact with the HTML document in which it is contained. This is accomplished through programming interface, that is API, called the document object model. So that is how a JavaScript can interact with the HTML document. And according to W3C, what is a DOM is, excuse me, this is the definition of the DOM: platform and language neutral interface that will allow programs and scripts to dynamically access and update the content, structure, and style of the document. So this is definition is very important. It is a platform and language independent neutral interface. Means it is not dependent on any kind of a platform or a language. It is independent, or it is neutral of that. It is that kind of a interface which it will allow all the programs or scripts to dynamically change the content. Okay, not only content, structure, and style of the documents. So some of these examples we will see in our later discussions. So this is the simple page we have. We already know all about the DOM, but by another name, the tree structure from chapter earlier chapter. When we talked about the HTML, we know the HTML tree structure. Okay, and is formally called as a DOM tree, with the root or the topmost object called as a document root. So this is the HTML document you can see here. uh, Inside the HTML, we have the head section. This is the opening of the head, closing head. Inside the head, we have meta section, meta element, and the title element. Then inside the body, I have h1, one paragraph, image, okay, and another h2 header, and div I have. Inside the div I have two paragraphs, and another div which is a sibling, okay, which is directly under the body. This also has a two paragraphs, and that is how this is structured. So uh, the the topmost object of this document, this DOM structure would be a document. So inside the document we will have the HTML structure. So all these things are called as the nodes. Okay. And if this child if particular node is below certain node, then it is called as a child node. Now this head is a child node of HTML, body is also child node of the HTML. And if you see, this head and the body are at the same level, they are called as a sibling nodes. And whichever node is above a certain node, that is called as a parent node. For here, HTML is the parent node of the body as well as the head. Now if you see the structure HTML, we have head and body. We have head and the body. Inside the head I have two, meta and title, meta and title. Inside the body, this is the all the siblings. What are the siblings? I have h1 paragraph, h1 paragraph, image, h2, this is the h2, div, two divs, two divs. Again this paragraph has a the anchor link. Then this div has two paragraphs, and the first paragraph has a time element. So you can see here the time element. So this is the structure of the, when you traverse from top to bottom, so you will be hitting the child nodes. Whenever you traverse from the lowest element to the topmost element, you will hit the parent node. So for example, for time, p is the parent node. So all these are called as the nodes in the DOM structure. In the DOM, each element within the HTML document is called as a node. If the DOM is a tree, then each node is an individual branch. So when if the DOM is a tree, then each individual node is a nothing but a branch. There are different types of nodes. We have element nodes, we have text nodes, we have attribute nodes. All nodes in the DOM share a common set of properties and methods. So we'll get into more details in the later sessions.